The city trembled under the shadow of the beast. Skyscrapers groaned as the massive serpent coiled around them, its scales glinting with an eerie red, white, and blue pattern. The A on its forehead pulsed with a faint, patriotic light, a twisted mockery of the hero it once represented. Helicopters buzzed overhead, their rotors slicing through the smoky air, while below, flames licked at the ruins of a once thriving metropolis. This was no ordinary monster, it was Captain America, or what remained of him, transformed into a towering abomination by a sinister experiment gone awry. Logan, better known as Wolverine, crouched on a shattered rooftop, his adamantium claws gleaming under the dim sunlight. His senses, honed by decades of battle, picked up the serpent's every move, the hiss of its breath, the thunderous thud of its tail against concrete. His heart pounded, not with fear, but with a deep, gnawing rage. He had fought alongside Steve Rogers, the man behind the shield, countless times. To see him reduced to this, to a mindless beast tearing through the city, was a betrayal of everything they stood for. "Steve," Logan growled under his breath, his voice rough with emotion. "What the hell did they do to you?" The story of this nightmare began weeks ago. A clandestine government project, codenamed Patriot Genesis, aimed to enhance super soldiers beyond human limits. Steve, ever the willing sacrifice for the greater good, volunteered to be the first test subject. The serum was supposed to amplify his strength, speed, and resilience to godlike levels. Instead, it mutated him, merging his DNA with that of a prehistoric serpent unearthed from a secret Arctic dig. The result was this: a creature of immense power, its mind shattered, driven only by primal instinct. Logan had been tracking the chaos since the first reports surfaced. The X-Men were scattered, and the Avengers were in disarray, leaving him as the lone wolf to face this monstrosity. He owed it to Steve, to the man who had saved his life more times than he could count, to bring him back, or, if necessary, put him down. The serpent's head reared back, its glowing eyes locking onto Logan. With a deafening roar, it lunged, its jaws snapping shut where he had stood a split second before. Logan rolled to the side, his claws slashing at the beast's scales. Sparks flew as adamantium met the reinforced hide. But the serpent barely flinched. Its tail whipped around, catching Logan midair and sending him crashing through a glass window into an office building. Pain seared through him, but it was fleeting. His healing factor kicked in, mending broken ribs as he staggered to his feet. Papers fluttered around him, a stark contrast to the war zone outside. He spat blood and glared at the gaping hole where the serpent's tail had struck. "Ain't gonna be that easy, bub," he muttered, charging back into the fray. The battle raged on, a dance of destruction across city. Logan darted between the serpent's strikes, his claws leaving shallow gouges in its flesh. The helicopters opened fire, their bullets ricocheting harmlessly off the creature's scales. One pilot's voice crackled over a loudspeaker. "Wolverine, fall back. We've got reinforcements en route." But Logan ignored the plea. This was personal. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting an orange glow over the devastation, a memory flashed through Logan's mind. He and Steve sharing a quiet moment after a brutal mission, talking about the cost of their sacrifices. "We keep fighting because we believe in something better," Steve had said, his voice steady. That memory fueled Logan's resolve. He couldn't let this beast erase the man Steve had been. The serpent reared again, its maw glowing with an unnatural energy, a remnant of the serum's power. Logan leaped, aiming for its eye, but the creature twisted, slamming him into the ground. The impact drove the air from his lungs, and for a moment he lay still, the world spinning. Above him, the serpent loomed, its fangs dripping with venomous intent. Then, a flicker of recognition sparked in its glowing eyes. For a fleeting second, Logan saw Steve, his friend, his brother-in-arms buried beneath the monster. "Fight it, Steve," he roared, clawing his way up. "You're stronger than this." The serpent hesitated, its head tilting as if struggling with an inner battle. Logan seized the moment, driving his claws deep into its neck. The creature shrieked, thrashing wildly, but the blow seemed to awaken something. A voice, faint and broken, echoed in Logan's mind. "Logan, help me!" Tears stung Logan's eyes as he pressed deeper, not to kill, but to reach the man within. The serum's hold was weakening, but the damage was extensive. The helicopters closed in, dropping tranquilizers that finally brought the beast down. It collapsed, its massive body shuddering, and Logan stood over it, panting. Hours later, in a makeshift lab beneath the rubble, scientists worked frantically. Logan watched as they extracted the serum's remnants from the creature's bloodstream. Steve's face began to emerge, the scales receding, the A fading. But the process was incomplete. His body stabilized, but his mind remained fractured, a shadow of the hero he once was.
Logan placed a hand on Steve's shoulder, his voice a whisper.
"We'll fix you, pal. I ain't giving up on you." The road ahead was uncertain, but for now, the battle was won, not with fists, but with hope. The makeshift lab buzzed with tension as scientists in white coats scurried around, their faces etched with a mix of hope and dread. The air was thick with the hum of machinery and the faint, acrid scent of antiseptic. Logan stood vigil by Steve's side, his claws retracted but his senses razor-sharp, ready for any sign of trouble. The serpent's massive form had shrunk considerably, its scales peeling away to reveal patches of human skin beneath. Steve's face, though still distorted, was beginning to resemble the man Logan knew, strong jawline, piercing blue eyes, now dim with exhaustion, and that familiar stubborn resolve flickering in their depths. The lead scientist, Dr. Elena Marquez, adjusted her glasses and approached Logan with a tablet in hand. "The serum's mutation is reversing, but slowly," she said, her voice steady despite the chaos. "The tranquilizers bought us time, but the damage to his neural pathways is extensive. We're not sure if he'll ever be fully himself again." Logan's fists clenched at his sides, the adamantium beneath his skin humming with suppressed rage. "You're telling me you cooked up this mess and now you can't fix it?" he snarled, his voice a low growl. "He volunteered for this, trusted you people, and look where it got him." Dr. Marquez flinched but held her ground. "We're doing everything we can. The serum was experimental, untested on a super soldier of his caliber. His enhanced physiology is fighting the reversal, and there's a risk of permanent mutation if we push too hard." Logan turned his gaze back to Steve, who lay strapped to a reinforced medical table, tubes snaked from his arms, pumping a cocktail of counteragents into his bloodstream. His chest rose and fell unevenly, each breath a labored rasp. For a moment, Logan saw not the half-transformed beast, but the soldier who had carried the weight of the world on his shoulders, laughing over a campfire with the howling commandos, raising his shield against impossible odds, offering a hand to pull Logan out of a dark place. "Keep working," Logan said finally, his voice softening. "I ain't leaving him like this." Outside, the city smoldered. Emergency crews worked tirelessly to clear debris and tend to the wounded, their sirens a mournful wail against the backdrop of a bruised skyline. The helicopters had retreated, their mission deemed a partial success, but the public was in a frenzy. News helicopters hovered at a safe distance, broadcasting the scene to a world hungry for answers. Rumors swirled. Some called it a government conspiracy, others a superhero gone rogue. The truth, buried in the lab beneath the rubble, was far more tragic. As night fell, a new threat emerged. The ground trembled, and a guttural roar echoed through the streets. Logan's head snapped up, his nostrils flaring as he caught a scent, metallic, wild, and all too familiar. "Sabretooth," he muttered, his lips curling into a snarl. Victor Creed, his longtime rival, had a knack for showing up when the stakes were highest, and where Sabretooth went, destruction followed. The lab's security feed flickered to life, revealing a hulking figure tearing through the outer perimeter. Sabretooth's feral grin was unmistakable, his claws glinting under the floodlights as he dispatched guards with ruthless efficiency. "Looks like your pal's not the only monster in town," he growled into a stolen comms device, his voice dripping with malice. "Time to finish what I started, Logan." Dr. Marquez paled. "He must be after the serum data. If he gets his hands on it—" "He won't," Logan interrupted, already moving toward the exit. "Stay with Steve. I'll handle this." The night air hit him like a punch as he emerged onto the ruined street. Sabretooth stood amidst the wreckage, his massive frame silhouetted against the flickering flames. "Miss me, runt," he taunted, cracking his knuckles. "Heard your boy toy turned into a snake. Figured I'd cash in on the chaos." Logan didn't waste words. He lunged, claws flashing, and the two clashed with a force that shattered the pavement beneath them. Sabretooth's strength was a match for Logan's, their mutual healing factors turning the fight into a brutal endurance test. Claws met claws, blood sprayed, and the air filled with the sound of snarls and grunts. But Logan's mind was elsewhere, on Steve, on the fragile hope of saving him. Sabretooth gained the upper hand, pinning Logan against a toppled car. "Gonna gut you slow," he hissed, raising a claw. But then, a weak, familiar voice cut through the din. "Logan, behind you." Steve, still strapped to the table. Inside had somehow projected his thoughts, a remnant of the serum's psychic link. Logan seized the distraction, twisting free and slashing Sabretooth across the chest. The bigger man roared, stumbling back, and Logan pressed the advantage, driving him into a crumbling wall. "Get out of here, Vic," Logan panted. "This ain't your fight." Sabretooth spat blood, his grin fading. "This ain't over, Logan." With a final snarl, he retreated into the shadows, leaving a trail of destruction in his wake. Back in the lab, Dr. Marquez rushed to Logan as he returned. "We've made progress," she said, her eyes alight with cautious optimism. "The counteragent is stabilizing his cellular structure, but he needs time and a miracle." Logan sank into a chair beside Steve, exhaustion weighing on him. He took Steve's hand, feeling the warmth of his friend beneath the cold scales. "Hang in there, pal," he whispered. "We've been through worse."
Days turned into weeks.
The city rebuilt. The story of the Captain Serpent fading into urban legend. Steve's recovery was slow, his mind a patchwork of memories and instincts. Sometimes he'd speak, fragments of wisdom or battle cries, but the man he was remained elusive. Logan stayed by his side, a silent guardian, vowing to fight for him, as Steve had fought for so many. One evening, as the sun set over a healing skyline, Steve's eyes cleared for a moment. "Logan," he rasped, a faint smile tugging at his lips. "Thank you." Logan nodded, a lump in his throat. "Always, Steve. Always." The journey wasn't over. But in that moment, hope burned brighter than ever, a beacon in the dark, promising redemption for a hero lost to the shadows.